Hello, I'm Mr. Corellian, and this is definitely my last video for Who Reviews the Reviewers tier. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll catch you up. Basically a channel here on YouTube called Geekvolution that does comic and superhero reviews mostly, decided a while ago that they wanted to put on a contest. The contest was going to be kind of like an American Idol reality show, where they were going to have a panel of judges and a bunch of contestants, and every week the judges would vote off one of the contestants. Only this game show wasn't about singing, it was about reviewing. And they asked anybody and all who wanted to apply to send in a video, reviewing whatever they wanted to. In my case it was an action figure, but in other people's it was a movie or comic book or whatever. Every week they would give us a different challenge of something to review, like something that we didn't like, or something that was older than us by at least 10 years. And every week the group of contestants would make a video about that challenge. Then the judges would get together and make a video talking about all the contestants' entries, and they would vote one off as the worst that week, and vote one as the best that week, and so on and so forth until there were only 3 of us left. I'm super thankful to be one of the last 3, and this is the last video because they told us that they're not choosing one to vote off this time, they're just choosing one to win it all and end the contest. And if you're wondering why I'm choosing to go on so long and explain in the contest, it's because this week the challenge was to review whatever we wanted, and the 3 of us left decided that we wanted to review the contest. Who reviews the reviewers? The review. Now this is a very hard thing to review because I have so many thoughts about it and so much emotion tied up in it. It's a very subjective experience for me because I was literally part of it. But the interesting thing about that is part of this whole contest is about stepping back from the things that we're involved with, you know, i.e. our videos, and being able to look at them objectively. However, this is still going to be a pain in the butt. There were a lot of really good things about this contest, and one of the main ones was that it was an opportunity for everybody to get meaningful criticism about their YouTube videos. You see, because we make these YouTube videos essentially for fun. We want to entertain ourselves, and we want to entertain other people. You know, this isn't our job or anything, so it's very easy to take things lightly and just, you know, film a video and shove it out there and be done with it. No planning, no thought, no objectivism, no nothing. And then when people like it, they comment, yay, that was nice, and when people don't like it, they comment, that sucked, and we call them a hater and block their comments. Or we get into an epic flame war. But this was a way where a group of people could all be in the same boat, that they're making videos that a bunch of people are going to scrutinize and judge and look at and nitpick and all those things that we really don't want people to do with our videos. And yet we freely signed up for this. I don't really know why. Actually, I do know why, but I'll get to that in a second. Because you've got to understand the value of criticism. I mean, we review things all the time. That means we take something that somebody has made, whether that's a movie or a comic or an action figure or something, and we nitpick it, and we look at it from every little angle and say what works and what doesn't, and some people have different opinions on them. This is, you know, a fantastic thing, or this is a horrible thing. But we do that all the time, so it makes sense that people could do it to our things too. And for me, at least at first, it felt kind of weird. I mean, I was barely used to having people watch videos that I made in the first place, let alone tell me the good things and the bad things about them. But over time, when I got a little used to it, I was able to take these criticisms, and I could agree with them or not, but I could really take to heart what other people seem to think. I feel it's made my videos better, and I know other people have had similar experiences. And it's not like the judges were saying, you must do this, this is wrong. Most of the time, it was suggestions, it was feelings, it was gut reactions, and that's the sort of stuff that I really like. One thing that I've noticed with the YouTube community, and pretty much with the internet, and you know, people. One thing that I've noticed with people is that we like contests, and we like prizes. And one of the things that this contest really had going for it is that it has a cool prize. Specifically, a monetary prize. The winner of this contest gets a $50 Amazon gift card. How cool is that? This is a great prize because it applies to everybody. I mean, like I said, there are reviewers that do action figures. I mean, personally, I'm a Star Wars action figure reviewer. There are people that review superhero stuff. There are even people that review... What does Mr. Fusion review? Power Rangers? Random movies. Movies. He's a movie guy. So, it would be really hard on Geekvolution's part to have any sort of prize that we could all want, but everybody likes money, and we all have internet. I mean, this is an online game show, right? So Amazon. Awesome. There are other non-tangible prizes, one of which being that the winner will be in a review with the panel of judges. They will also be in a podcast with Geekvolution. and just that in general they get more exposure for their videos, which is particularly noteworthy because of the decision by Geekvolution to only allow participants that have 500 subscribers or less. I think the 500 subscribers limitation was a great idea because A, it obviously means that somebody that's really experienced can't just come in and dominate this because they already have a lot of knowledge of what viewers like to see and how to make a good review and a lot of experience, and B, because then it appeals to a wider range of people and gets them to be a participating part of a community, which I really think is where YouTube can shine, but I'm going to get into more of that later. Now, of course, it makes sense that the judges have to be a little more experienced on YouTube, have to have done a lot more reviews and have more subscribers. That way they seem qualified to be, you know, judging other people's work. And these judges worked really well for the contest, especially at the beginning of the contest when none of the contestants knew each other. It was really nice to have the judges have their review every week or every 2 weeks or whatever it was, and listen to them have a good time talking critically, but also talking casually about all the reviews that everybody had done. The judges were all very different people, and I mean, yeah, they all did nerdy reviews for YouTube, so in that way they're similar, but they have different tastes and different styles, which is great because it means that every week when they do their deliberations, we don't hear the same opinion stated over and over again. We get a variety of them. We get different insights on the same work. And of course, when they all happen to agree on a particular point, you know there's probably some validity behind what they're saying. One of my favorite things about the contest, though, was the interesting and engaging topics that we had every week. It seemed as though every topic was not chosen randomly out of a hat or just because it sounded fun, but because it was really meant to better all of our reviews and broaden our reviewing capabilities. One week we were meant to review something that we personally disliked, but we had to start with something that we did like about it, and that's something hard to do. It forced us to be objective where otherwise we don't want to be. One week we had to judge a album, which is something that none of the contestants had any experience in, and really forced us to break some of our norms. One week we had to review a video of one of the judges, which was a weird meta but super fun experience. I'm not really sure what we were supposed to get out of that one, you know, because every week we thought about reviewing reviews already and we're supposed to be objective about reviews, so it's not like there was anything new there, but maybe it was for retribution. Or, you know what? Fun makes things valid anyways. If it's fun, it's good enough for me. And that one was fun. One week we had to review something all together on a podcast. 3 people just talking spontaneously, and that was really interesting because it was all about spontaneity and then also person-to-person interaction with people that we hadn't had a lot of experience directly talking with. So obviously there were a lot of good learning experiences throughout all of this, which really makes the contest have a longer-lasting effect than just, you know, ooh, it was a fun thing I did. However, I've been going on for a while about all the great things about this contest and all the things that worked, but there were definitely some things that fell short. One of the most notable ones that you'll all know, especially if you've been following this contest from beginning to end, is that scheduling didn't work out perfectly. And I'm not saying that's just the judge's fault. That's very much the contestants' fault and very much my own in many cases as well. You see, the contest, if you go back and watch their original video back in October of 2010, they estimated it was going to be a 6-week contest. Have 6 contestants, 1 voted off a week, done in 6 weeks. And here we are, a little bit off schedule. It's been 7 months instead of 6 weeks, but what can you do? And although this was a problem with the contest, I want to be very careful not to say that there's blame associated with any one person. We're all just people, and frankly, we have schedules outside of YouTube that supersedes our YouTube schedules. I mean, people get new jobs, or move, or don't have internet for a while, or go on honeymoons, school. And you know, because of the climate of the contest, we're all friendly and casually interacting. It just doesn't seem fair to, you know, get mad at anybody or place blame or annoyance or anything on time scheduling problems. I mean, this isn't a job, it's a game that we're all playing. However, that doesn't mean that if they do this again sometime, that they can't use time more effectively. One thing that they could fix was, at the very beginning of the contest, they chose to do 8 contestants instead of 6, and I really think 6 would have worked better. Even though I love every week and doing 8 weeks of videos is more fun than doing 6, it was easier to stay on schedule for everybody in the first part of the contest, and as time went on, And as things that we couldn't have foreseen at the beginning of the contest came into our lives, it was harder and harder to schedule things. So having it even be 2 weeks shorter in theory, I feel like would compound to a lot shorter of a contest. It could also be fixed by having a large number of contestants but voting off more people at a time, especially early on, maybe getting rid of 2 people in a week. Or, what is maybe most likely if they ever do this again, is to just be stricter with the schedule. Say this is our schedule and we're sticking to it, and because it's a game, we'll just say the rules are if you can't get it in, you can't get it in. However, it might be hard for the judges to stick to those rules too, so maybe that's not the most likely outcome. Either way, I don't have to solve the problem, I just have to tell you that it was one. Another problem that seemed to crop up a lot was unclear expectations between the judges and the contestants. Especially in the first couple weeks, it took people a couple videos to really find out what you guys were really looking for. Now, one reason that may have caused this is because it's the first time that a contest like this has been done on YouTube, and there's no precedent to look back at and say, oh, how did they do it that last time? What were they looking for last time? Because this is the first time. There were even a lot of like subtle expectations about the gaminess of this, and I don't mean like chewy like gamey meat or something like that, but that this was a game, and that we had to play it like a game. That would throw some people for a loop. I mean, notably, I remember Shades at Night getting confused over whether he was allowed to do an X-Men review because he had already done X-Men reviews. And frankly, it was confusing for me too, and then maybe the rest of people. However, this is a harder problem to solve, because if you spell out expectations too explicitly, then you get cookie-cutter reviews where everybody's is the same. I'm hopeful though, because if Geekvolution ever decides to do this Who Reviews the Reviewers contest again, or if anybody else takes up the initiative, doing it a second time with some experience under your belt should really help solve both of these problems. But problems aside and good things aside, there's really one thing that defined the Who Reviews the Reviewers experience for me, and that's the community. Now, of course, there's the judges. Actually, none of the judges, except for the review spot, was I familiar with at all before the contest. And now, I'm super glad to have found all of them, because they do some really interesting stuff. However, forget the judges, I want to talk about the contestants, because the judges, it was likely that someday I would have stumbled on their channels anyways, but the contestants, it was unlikely I would have. And they were a really interesting bunch. We had a variety of people with a variety of interests. There's the reviewer who roleplays as a teacher, except he actually is a teacher, so I guess it's not roleplaying. There's the passionate Canadian, and no, I'm not talking about Wolverine. There was the friendly guy, who, actually, I kind of have a lot in common with and like to talk about video games with. And there was this sexy Australian voiceover. And although that was kind of a joke, Shades, you make me swoon. But I'm digressing a little bit. What I'm trying to say is that being part of this contest felt like being part of the community. Even the people that weren't the contestants, the viewers, I feel like I've really become part of a community with them. All these names that I see crop up again and again, and I feel like I know them, I wouldn't know them if it weren't for this contest. It wasn't between judges and contestants, or it wasn't between video makers and viewers. It was a big mesh of judges and viewers and contestants getting together online because of similar interests and just having fun. That's one of the reasons why I like that 500 subscribers or less limitation, because it's bringing people up into the community that haven't really participated in the community that much yet. That's why I like that a bigger channel like Geekvolution did this, because they have a large community that they can all tell to get involved with each other. And that's also why the second part of the prize I don't think is as important, because frankly, after an experience like this, I feel like everybody knows each other well enough that we already want to do that sort of stuff with each other. In fact, one of the viewers, Coolio Vids, he was in one of Geekvolution's recent videos with them. I personally am subscribed to many of the contestants, I think all of the judges, and plenty of the people that I've seen commenting, who I would have never found out about if it weren't for this contest. And that's a prize that's better because we all get to partake in it. In their initial video, they called the prize publicity, but it's not publicity, it's community involvement. Because you see, making videos on YouTube, as this contest so thoroughly embodies, is not about filming a video at home, putting it up on the internet, and forgetting about it. It's about making a video with viewers in mind, putting it up on the internet, and then having a dialogue about it. And that was the place where Who Reviews the Reviewers really shined. That's all I have to say.